Now, today's question may well have driven you to drink. I asked you why Whisky Galore is so important to the modern game of snooker. Well, it's circuitous, but it's fascinating. Our experts are not adverse to a little tipple now and again, so let's see if they made the journey correctly.
Whisky Galore. Because John Paul...
I met her once in a nightclub, Whisky Galore. She was a nice lady.
Really? Was she?
She was a good
Okay,
sort.
right,
She was a good sort.
Whisky Galore. That's a horse, isn't it?
No, I can't remember the name of horse, Whisky Galore.
Well, if you can't remember the name of the horse, Whisky Galore, it wasn't.
Exactly.
It must be to do with the writer.
The what?
The writer.
The writer. Okay. Who wrote it?
Who wrote it or who rode him? Because he thought it was a horse.
Whisky Galore.
Great black and white film. Never seen it?
No.
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant film.
Is it a film, Whisky Galore? John Wayne?
The fact that it was the thing that turned John Pulman's career around in 1977 when he went on the wagon and got to the semi-finals, because he was a big whiskey fan.
He loved the whiskey.
Minus 10 points, I'm afraid, for several of those answers. Whisky Galore, you may remember, is the name of the famous comic novel published by Sir Compton Mackenzie in 1947, made into a classic Ealing comedy in 1957. Now, who was Compton Mackenzie? He was a very popular writer in his day, and he was a snooker nut. And in fact, he even presented the World Championship trophy to the winner, Joe Davis, in March 1939. The very same month, Mackenzie penned an article in The Billiard Player magazine about the origins of snooker. And in it, he fully supported the claims of British Army Lieutenant Neville Chamberlain, who said that he had invented the game in 1875 in the Indian town of Jubalpur. Now, Neville Chamberlain, no relation to the Prime Minister, had been experimenting on the officers' mess table with the existing game of black pool, which featured 15 red balls in the famous triangle and 1 black. But he also threw on some additional coloured balls. Now, importantly in all of this was the fact that rookie cadets, newbies, if you like, at that time at the Royal Military Academy in Woolwich, were called snookers, which was a corruption of the original word for a newly joined cadet, which was neux, N-E-U-X, from the French meaning new ones. So Chamberlain observed that all those present in the room were in effect snookers, or new to this tweaked version of the game. And so the name somehow stuck, that snooker game, you know? Because everyone felt like a fool, like a raw recruit when they tried to play what I think we all know is a very difficult game.
I'll tell you what, you need to be a right proper anorak, don't you, to know these answers, that's for sure. Mackenzie's article claimed to have incontrovertible evidence that Chamberlain's story was true, and thereafter his account of the origins of snooker was generally accepted as fact. Incidentally, Mackenzie had his own table at home on the island of Barra in the Hebrides, and no doubt he enjoyed a dram whilst playing a few frames on it. So, why is Whisky Galore important to snooker? Well, because its author was the first man to write about how snooker came to be played. I like that.